What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now, the question I always get asked is, why do pros' gameplay look better? Why do their players make amazing runs? And why every single time you look at their tactics, they give you something like this? Are pros really hiding their tactics? What makes them perform better? I'm going to answer all those questions in this video. Before I do get started, I want to say this video is sponsored by my FIFA School Series. You are looking to get better at FIFA, you can come join my FIFA School Series. Right now, we've got a series. We actually go from Division 10 all the way into the Elite Division. In the last couple of games, the last couple of divisions, should I say, 3, 2, 1, we end up using a 100k team to show that how anyone could do it. We've got tutorials, and we also got videos on how teams do work as well in regards to how formations work and how they all move in. I've got thousands of other videos on there. Well, not thousands, hundreds, should I say. Link is down below, patreon.com/NealGuides. That's it. If you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is how sure I am. So you can join and say, okay, 1 month, not get better. Don't worry, I'll refund your money. We've got attack patterns, everything like that. Link is down below in the description. So let's go back to the video. When you see these tactics, are pros lying? Do they have some? Or people ask me, do I have some? Am I somehow giving everyone fake tactics and somehow keeping secret tactics for myself? What's going on? The truth is, no. When you see these tactics like this, and you see a pro using it like this, that's 100% correct. They don't have no secret tactics. And you're going to ask, right? You're going to say to me, hang on now. You're going to say, hang on, I'm going to take these headphones. I don't know why I got these headphones in, these earbuds. OnePlus earbuds, not sponsored, but, you know, pretty good battery life, I'd say. But anyway, the point I was trying to say is, look, the truth is they don't need tactics because everything they do is manual, you know, and the best I can do is draw this out. If, for example, so the team's out of position here, but let's say, for example, if, in assuming this was a good system, if, let's say, for example, I don't know, I normally have Ronaldo here, Neymar and Cam, and the player choice is also very important. You'll see they're meta teams for a reason. Does it make them the best player? No, these guys can still win with cheap teams. It just elevates the performance. Even it's like having like I'm trying to think of a good example, but it's kind of like having the best running shoes, the best football boots. It's not going to help you run better, but it'll help you inch out that couple of extra percentage. Their tactics are like this, and the reason is because they do everything manually. They don't need to use a defensive style. Why? It's because they apply pressure themselves. They use teammate contain. They trap their opponent with teammate contain. They do it together. They don't need defensive styles to do that because they know how to defend. It's the same thing with attacking. They don't need to use slow build-up play, fast build-up play, or long ball because, well, they do actually, but we'll get on to that in a second. They use the L1 button to push players going forward. It's the same thing in a final third. They don't need forward runs, direct passing because they do 1-2s and they do L1 triggers. They use RB triggers to bring players close, player locks, all those things to make players move on the pitch. The truth is, if you're watching this video, and also even elite players, they don't know how to use L1s effectively. That's why we say to you, it's all about the basics of FIFA. Once you learn the basics, everything else becomes relevant. Now, if you give an average player tactics like these, now this is made for a specific reason. Why have I made it this way? And why does this video do so well every single year? And why is there tens of thousands of comments on this video every single year saying this formation worked for me? It's because it's designed for the average player. Even if you're an elite player or you're a Division 5 player, if you use this tactic, it would help you. There's certain instructions, the way the players are laid out. This one, come back in defense when they go forward, acts like getting behind. You have long ball on this, or you can have forward runs. As I mentioned, both variations work well. Forward run inside the final third. A lot of players don't recycle. They just play counter attack the entire game. You need forward runs if you don't know how to make those 1-2s, do those 1-2s with your CDM, create those triangles. If you don't do that manually yourself, you're never going to get better at the game. So tactics for the average player. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I'm just thinking of some terrible. But I'm like a Formula 1 example. You know, if I give the best tactics I've ever created to an average player and they verse a top tier player, they are still going to lose. But what tactics can do is they can improve your performance relative to your own position. It's because people don't understand how tactics really work. That's the truth. For example, people think slow build-up plays because I want you to play slow. No, it's not. Slow build-up play is deliberately done so players take a longer time to go from this position, from this section to this section of the pitch. What it does is it slows you down and it makes you think about it. It stops you from running. It makes you do 1-2s. It forces you to play slower, do 1-2s and build the play as opposed to just spamming driven through balls. So the logic behind slow build-up play is not for you to play slow. It's to help you out. Same if you're against constant pressure. Slow build-up play gives you more options. If you use long ball or fast build-up play, these guys are going to go run forward. If you're getting pressed against any half-decent player, you're going to concede. But the truth is, The average player doesn't know this. Now before, I remember when I made tactics in the beginning, people used to just laugh. 5-3-2 and all those formations. They end up becoming meta 1 year later on. Remember FIFA 19, the 5-2-1-2, I said left back, right back completely unmarked? Everyone just laughed at me saying, meta formation, what pros use this formation? What happened 1 year after that? So the point I'm trying to say is, whatever you see online, don't worry about it too much. When you see a pro player, they're not lying to you. They generally are using these tactics because they don't need it. All they might do is, they may, for example, decrease the width normally by 5-ish. They may have the depth, for example, on 25 or 30, and they normally put drop back on if they've got a defensive formation. But normally, it's something along these lines anyway. Like for a general formation, something along these lines. And then they may have, for example, direct passing to abuse the L1, the driven pass and the L1 triangle pass with L1 triggers. And sometimes you may see long ball, but most of the time, most pros play this unbalanced. This is what you'll see most pro players' tactics to be. And when I'm tryharding, and this is if I'm playing scrim or something, this is what I'm using. If I'm tryharding, I'm normally using a high width, 55, 60. Depth, I normally go 35 is the lowest, but I normally stay at 40. And I have this unbalanced and balanced, and I use possession. That's if I'm trying. Now, do I play with possession? No, but possession makes players come to me all the time. But because I know how to send players going forward, I want everyone to come towards me. And because I'm not streaming, I'm concentrating, I can then trigger players manually going forward. Do you see what I'm saying? So those are my tryhard tactics. It's nothing special. But of course, when I'm playing casually, I'm not thinking about the game. The tactics tell me, for example, this 3-5-2, when I'm not playing, when I'm not concentrating properly, I use this formation, it saves me. Because players, I've got so many players going forward. I attack basically in a 5-striker formation with a cam. I'm always numerically outnumbering my opponent. I got long ball. These guys are making runs going forward. I'm doing forward runs in the final third. So the game is aiding me. So the question you're going to ask me is, so why does tactics make a big difference for you, yourself? It's because if you give the average player a tactics, it's kind of like an average, like let's say you have a racer, right? Let's say, I don't know, you're a Formula 1 driver. Let's say, I don't know, you're a mediocre one. If you give them the fastest car, it'll help them improve. But if my grandma gets the fastest Formula 1 car, do you think she's going to win the races? She won't, would she? It's all about the playstand. That's why I go back to the basics. If you don't know how to play the game, no tactic will save. Do you know how many times I see a video, I'll make a tactic, which I know is what, because I test I don't just randomly think, oh, let me pluck out of thin air and say, you know what? Let me just mix it up today and put slow build-up play and just release the video. I don't do that. Of course I don't do that. People think I do. So when someone uses the best, you could have the best tactics that's ever been created. But if you just run out with your centre back and you don't know how to defend, you're going to lose regardless. So you can have, and what I'm trying to say is in Formula 1, you can have the fastest car in the world. You can be like grandma, you're the fastest, let's say 10 times the speed of Lewis Hamilton's car. But you don't know how to drive the car, you ain't going to win nothing. And that's the point I'm trying to say to you is, if you don't know how to play the game, tactics won't help you. If you go on a 10 losing streak, it's not the tactics' fault, it's your fault. It's the truth. When I lose 2 games in a row, I know I should only lose 1 max. But I lose 2 in a row, I know it's frustration. And that's the thing. People are blurring the lines. So I'll give an example. People use this 4-2-3-1. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you can't play with this 4-2-3-1, then it's 100% in your gameplay. I'll tell you this for a fact. Because this is the only formation where you have 2 CDMs and you can defend in a 4-5-1 and also attack in a 4-5-1 as well. We want to set them as going forward and still have defensive stability. There's no other formations where these guys are cams. You have 3 cams essentially. And these guys act as a second striker and wingers when you go forward with the 2 CDMs staying in the middle. No formation plays that. That's why every single year it is the most meta formation in the game, period. But as I said to you, if you play perfectly 90 minutes of the game and then you decide to run out with your centre back because you believe in 90-minute goals or whatever you want to believe in, yeah, it doesn't exist. I made a video on this on my channel. If you don't want to believe me, then don't. I don't care. If you want to believe in fairies, then go believe in it. It's not my job for you to like me, as I say. It's my job to tell you the truth. But if you make that mistake, you're going to concede. So the point I'm trying to say to you is tactics can only take you so far. So when I make these weekly updates, if you are new to the game or you play the game for a couple of years and you need a tactic set up, yeah, my tactic set up, it'll work. Because I've got one for when you're losing, one when you're 2 mid formations and 1 formation to close out the game when you're winning. This is normally like a 4-3-3 or something. But anyway, it will help you. But I said, if you don't know how to play the game and you run out and you make simple mistakes, if you bring your goalkeeper up, you do simple mistakes, it's not going to help you. So, in general, tactics are there to aid you. That's why tactics work well for, like, I would say, not this year, because this year ranks are very all over the place. I would say last year, from all the way from wherever the lowest rank in FUT Champs was last year. So let's say from qualifications last year all the way to Gold 1/elite level. That's when tactics will save most of players most. And to be honest, the truth is, most of you guys are in that bracket. How many of you guys got elite last year consistently? You might have got elite once or twice, but not consistently. That's where tactics will help you. Now, when you go beyond the elite formation, the elite level, then you're going to know certain things to play for your playstyle. For example, you may see certain content creators, they use possession. Now, if I put possession in one of my tactics and I give this out, this tactic won't work for most people. It just won't. It'll make people play worse. So that's why the specific tactics, that's why when you see my tactics get released, they're very similar things. If it's, for example, attacking formation, I know realistically long ball or forward runs is the best thing. Forward runs, direct passing with long ball is the best thing for most formations. It'll work, just because it makes the formation more attacking. Because most players, they don't use forward runs. They don't trigger these players manually. If you're playing a 4-2-3-1, let's say for example here, and you don't put forward runs on, then these guys are just going to sit there and do nothing. Then you're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. I got no one to pass to. I got no space. I haven't got R9. I haven't got Pele. Thinking that they're going to solve your issue. No, that's why if you look at it, you give the best tactics. And you can give the best ever team, the most best God squad to, like, I don't know, an average player. Are they going to become a top tier player? No, they're not going to become a top tier player because only their team and tactics. Team is about 10%. I think tactics, you can argue it's maybe the same. Actually, maybe you can argue a bit more, 15% each. But once you understand the game and you know what you're doing, the tactics only mean a certain amount of things. But anyway, that is what I wanted to say in regards to tactics. So yes, when you do see a pro player's tactics like this, no, they are not lying to you. They genuinely play those tactics. You might see them like this. The reason why it's probably not working for you is because they're pro players. They don't need tactics to aid them. And that is why I think most people, they come back to my tactics, because I think when they see a pro player's tactics, because I know what people do. They go on YouTube, they search best tactics in FIFA. They see a tactic, like, oh yeah, best tactics ever. They watch it and they realize, oh yeah, this works for me because apparently they had a good run. Get frustrated one day after, oh, this tactic stopped working. Do you know how many times I get heard? I hear this tactic stopped working. How can a tactic, unless a patch comes out, there's a few things that change. So when I release a weekly tactic, sometimes I talk about it. Sometimes I may increase the width of my formation. That's because my opponents are playing more narrow. So for example, when the game came out, you'll see the tactics are very much different from when the game came out to now. It's because people play differently. People used to part the bus in the beginning, now they're a bit more open. The counter-attack meta is there. That's why forward runs and direct passing and long ball is more effective. You'll see the increase of width that I've actually added in, because now people are playing very, very wide down the wing and doing L1 triangles and driven through balls. So you can no longer have like a width of 30 anymore. So those things, they impact the game. So those indirectly, so like things, depth, for example, new tricks that get applied. For example, if they nerf how the CDM or strikers come back on the fence like they did in the 4-4-2 a couple of years ago, it changed the way the game gets played. So yes, the patches do change the formations, but it's not as detrimental as you think. It's not like the game completely changes. Maybe in January, every January, normally a major patch comes out that changes the game. But for example, like the meta, remember when the game came out, the meta was what? Driven shots outside the box. Remember when I explained to you the 4-2-2, how I want you to have a bit more of a narrow width? And the idea behind that is that you can end up just doing finesse shots inside the box. Now I didn't play that way, but for most people they did, and that's what helped them. Whereas now I've gone to the opposite end. You want higher width because people now are parking the bus very, very like tight like this, and most people's defense before, they used to be much wider, much higher depth, because you don't want to stop the finesse shot meta. But now everyone's parking the bus, so you need a wider attack to separate and split your opponent's back four up. And that's why the introduction, the center mid joint attack. So those are the things that change the formation, but a formation doesn't stop working, as quote unquote. And that's why I hear that. I always laugh when I hear that. But I suppose a good, maybe the cheeky devil inside me will probably say, you know what, let people believe whatever they want to believe. Let them think the formation change every single week, and I'll just capitalize on it. But you guys know I'm not like that. If I really cared about that, I'll start abusing mechanic abusing videos, telling you how to break the game. And you think there's mechanic abuses now? There's stuff I know that people don't even know about. Even pros don't even know about how some of the stuff that I know about in the game. I know stuff that I'm definitely not going to release or tell anyone about in the game. But it's not my job here to make you like me. If you want to like me, go. If you want someone to like, you can go get a girlfriend, or you can go watch a YouTube video of someone opening packs where you can start smiling, because it's definitely not here. I'm going to tell you the truth, because that's how you're going to get better. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and that's why most of my viewers are older. But anyway, that is me going. I don't know why the volume increased so loudly over there. Apologies for that. But Anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy, of course. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.